What's up, everyone? So I'm going to be breaking down the market today. Today's September 8th, Tuesday. Yesterday we had off for Labor Day, and the market's open today and took quite the turn. So first thing I want to check out here is the SPYs. So taking a look at the SPYs here, we're down about 9.36 points, 2.5%, just about 2.5% from Friday's close here. You can see that we had a huge pre-market sell-off here. Remained rather, in a consolidation zone here between 335 area and 338 area, and then towards the end of the day, we got that further sell-off right into the pre-market, tagging a low of 329.65, breaking the 330 surprisingly, and now just bouncing in the post-market session. So some things that we have on the radar. So let's start with these charts. So today's, purpose of today's market breakdown is to go through the stocks that I'm watching over there on the left-hand side and look at those longer term, bigger picture chart intervals and take it from there. So today in Apple, we saw a 6.7% drop, about 8 points. So you can see here Apple's coming into this 110 area, bouncing off the support that it's created there. Tomorrow I'll be watching it for either a continuation downwards, consolidation, or an uptrend. Now, a lot of these charts look pretty similar as the market has been selling off over the past couple days. So a lot of these charts look pretty similar. I would say, Apple, Tesla, NVDA, they look just about the same. However, what we're looking for is what stocks offer the best opportunity, what stocks are going to be setting up in a tradable way for us as day traders. So the next ticker taking a look here is Tesla. Tesla, you could say arguably is one of the most beat down names in the market right now, coming off of its high of 538 all the way to a whopping low of 330. In the post market today, it tagged lows of 308. For further downside, I'll be watching a loss of 305 and then 300 and looking for support over here at 272, 275 area. On the upside, if it breaks over the 340 area, I would look for a move up to 359, 360, you could say, and then from there to like 380 area. So it's kind of hard to say, where we are going to see stocks go. Tomorrow, day after, this is, the, let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's like the fifth day of the sell-off, you could say. Um, let's see where things go. The point of me going through the PM this PM, post-market market breakdown. The point of it is to just break down those levels on longer time frames. Take a look at what areas I should be watching the stock, and then using this information in the morning to formulate my solid game plan that I will be trading in the morning. So Tesla here, once again, you have that resistance at 360. You could call it inflection at 309, 310 area, and then at the lows you have support of 272. Yeah, I mean, breaks 272, you have room really all the way to 248, and then maybe 220. That's if the stock breaks that. And then, like I said, on the upside, above 360, you have 380, 390. Take it on every $10 increment, just about. SPY, we already went over SPY, but just taking a look at the levels that I have here, support of 330.12, and then the downside level of 327, and then we have the upside level of 335 with a resistance over there at 338, 339 area. Above that, look for 343.65 area. The next one I have on my list is Boeing. So Boeing is nearing the bottom of this little pattern, this flag pattern that it has been holding up for quite some time now. I'm going to switch to a daily chart actually. So taking a look at this, it put in a red day today of 5.8%, about 10-point move down, which is pretty big for Boeing. Let's see. I don't use Thinkorswim primarily, so I don't have the volume up. But something that I would want to look for here is above average volume. So what I like to do is do this, add that volume study. So taking a look here, you have above average volume on this, but today's volume, nothing crazy. Let's just double check. Yeah, so today you had a little bit, below average volume here on the daily volume graph. What I'm looking for in this is either a break of these lows here. The break of that support would lead to some more downside to like that 139 area. That's what I'd be looking for. And then on the upside, I'm looking for a range trade. So a range trade is something I look for in the hourly chart. If we bounce here, you find a spot to get long, in these buy zones that I would set up in the morning, depending on how the pre-market looks. And I would just use these upside levels right here as my targets. So those would be 162, 167, 172, and 177. The next stock I have on my list is NVIDIA, NVDA. You can see here also beat down a lot from the market sell-off. Taking a look at the daily here, it closed within this range of 475, 465, closed within that 10-point range. What I'm watching for tomorrow is a break outside these ranges for an upside or a downside trade. A break of these 465 support can lead to a move towards 453 and then a move towards 440 area, 445, 440 area on the downside. On the upside, we have, I'm personally not interested unless it breaks 500. If it breaks and hold 500, then I'm interested to the upside. It would have to be a pretty strong move up, and yeah, that's what would get me interested. BYND. So BYND had some news today, so let's see if we can. Okay. So taking a look at BYND today, Beyond Meat to open major production facility outside China, Starbucks to add more plant-based food items to menus in China, Beyond Meat Inc.'s production deal near Shanghai. Yeah, so that happened. It got some upgrades last week as well. So my thing here with Beyond, it offered a really nice setup this morning for a day trade. You can see here on a 5-minute chart, you had a nice opportunity to day trade, out of the open. If you're quick, if you're a more, momentum-driven scalp sort of trader, you have these nice two opening bars here. Call that an opening drive trade. But, looking at the bigger picture here, I personally am not interested in Beyond upside above until it's above 139, holds 140, and then makes its way towards 142.50. So that's why I have my alert set up here. When the stock breaks, I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit. I'm going to set it to 140. When the stock gets above 140 and really holds above 140, when it gets to that 141 area, that's where I start to get interested in this for further upside. Personally, I'm staying away from the short side in Beyond, because I've had some bad experiences shorting this, especially with the options, as I'm an options trader. I find it kind of hard to trade, so I'm going to stay away from that. I like to use this one for upside only, calls only, long ideas pretty much exclusively and Beyond, only because of the way that the short float is set up and the squeeze opportunities that it offers above certain prices. So that's the edge, that's the playbook that I have created for myself, and that's what I'm going to follow. So the next ETF here actually is just SMH. I don't use this to trade. There's no trading ideas in this, but if I'm trading NVIDIA, I'm trading it alongside SMH because SMH tracks the overall semiconductor technology stocks. The last one I have here is FedEx. FedEx is pretty interesting here. It's held up really, really well compared to other market names. I'm actually looking for a spot to get long in this tomorrow at the open, perhaps for a swing trade. It's defended this nice support, put in a higher low, which is nice to see. So, just marking this up real quick, I have a support right here. And, if we can see this hold that support, I would like to find a spot to get long for new all-time highs, possibly like a 235 strike. Let's see what I get in the morning. But this one is reporting earnings on the 15th. So this is an idea that I would try and get out of before the earnings. Since the stock has had a pretty nice bull run, I would look to sort of ride that hype before the earnings and then get out maybe on the 15th before the market closes, or perhaps sometime next week. Okay. And then the last thing I want to touch on is VIX. So this is the volatility index. Of course, VIX is what tracks the quote unquote fear and greed in the markets. You could say that we didn't see a huge spike in the VIX today comparatively, because if you take a look here, the selling today wasn't too violent, right? Because you had the violent selling in the pre-market. So something to notice here, in our past couple days of trading is you got the high right there. That's the high of the SPY. Notice how the sell-off was during market hours. So that's interesting to me because volatility, wasn't too affected here because most of the sell-off was before the market opened. And then when we did open the market, we had a little bit of a sell-off. We had like a 5-point bar here. The market, this is a 1 hour bar. So from high to low, it's about 5-6 points. And then here, just another 2-point, 1-point bar. So, I find that interesting. I want to track volatility as we keep going through this interesting time of the markets. Let's see where that brings us. But the high of volatility right now in the last 20 days is 38.28. You have that huge spike coming in. This was the day that the market sold off during market hours, and then it tagged a high here. I know that there was a pretty bad open on this day. It was Friday, I believe, and today it kind of just consolidated and held within range. So let's see what happens to volatility. Let's see what happens to SPY. Futures are currently open and we're down just 4 points, nothing crazy. The last thing I will do here is check out CNBC, see if there's any crazy headlines. So we see Asia Pacific stocks decline after overnight Wall Street drop. That's interesting. Let's see up here, like Asian markets are down. European markets are also down. Bonds, pretty much down except that 10-year. Oil, natural gas is down %. Oil, Brent, and the rest are up. Gold is down slightly. And yeah, so that's about it for that. You can see nothing crazy. Dow dropped 600 points as tech stock falls again. Nasdaq down 10% on the last 3 days. Let's take a look at the Finviz heat map. So this is something I like to check out on a daily basis to see what stocks are stronger or weaker than the market. So you have Disney. Disney is interesting here. Maybe that's worth a look as one of the strength names. Another one here is SO, the Southern Company. Never heard of that. GM and Ford with that Nikola partnership, and KLA was an interesting name today. Some honorable mentions here are PTO and Peloton. This is one stock that's stronger than the market. This could be a watch for tomorrow. I personally don't like where it's sitting on the chart. If there's a gap in the morning to the upside or the downside, that will put that back on my radar. You got Nikola. Same thing. This is something to visit in the morning. Had a crazy 40% day. And then, taking a look at GM. I personally don't like that chart. And same thing with Ford. Not a fan of the chart. Okay. And we will conclude by just checking out if there are any economic reports coming out tomorrow. Wednesday, you got 10 a.m. job openings. And then Thursday is the big one with the continuing initial jobless claims. And then Friday, you have consumer price index and federal budget at 2 p.m. So that's about it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed. If any questions or anything come up, feel free to comment down below and be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.